Sporting Journal Radio, presented by Onyx.
Now it's time to head up to Lake of the Woods and check in with our friend Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism up there. Joe, how you doing, man?
Hey, you're back in your studio, Brett.
Back home, not necessarily happy about it, but we'll make it work.
Yeah, I tell you, pros and cons, everything in life, but it looks like you had a great trip up there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we're trying to plan a Lake of the Woods trip here while we're home for the next couple of weeks, and it sounds like it'd be a good time to go up there.
Fishing this summer has been so good, and I should say that obviously we've had a high water year, and we've had some record-breaking high water, but water levels are already starting to come down. The resorts have done a great job of making good dock space available. Boat ramps are open, and fishing's been incredible. I mean, come on up. And it's funny, we do have some openings this year that we otherwise wouldn't have had. And I really think what's happening, Brett, is naturally you turn the news on and they might show something in another destination across the northern border with flooding, and people automatically attribute that to the whole border in Lake of the Woods. And the fact of the matter is, our resorts are open and we're cranking. You know what I mean?
I mean, it seems like no matter what the conditions are up there, you can find fish. And those resorts up there, those guys live and breathe that lake. They find ways to overcome adversity on an annual basis. And this isn't, I mean, it's making them adjust a few things, but it's not really slowing them down, is it?
No, it's not. And, I'll tell you, for the most part, these are entrepreneurs that are very resilient, and their livelihood depends upon making things good and available to customers, right? So things like docks, when the water went up over some of the docks, some of the people put in floating docks. Some of the resorts, they put docks on docks that are higher up. Some people tore their old docks out and put in brand new docks that are above the water level. I mean, there's a number of things that they've done. The other thing too is boat ramps. There are some boat ramps up on the Rainy River that were closed down because of the high water. But, some of the major boat ramps, some of the private boat ramps at resorts, they've been open the whole time. And there's plenty of access to different parts of Lake of the Woods and the Rainy River. So it's, and fishing's been good. That's the kicker. In this high water year, fishing has been so good across the entire lake. And, I think that's a big thing is that, if you want to have some really quality walleye, pike, muskie, smallmouth fishing. Lake of the Woods right now is it's on fire.
Well, while we were gone, we kept seeing storm alerts come across from back here in Minnesota, and it sounded like, especially where I'm at down here in that southwestern part of the state, it sounded like we were getting a lot of weather and a lot of rain. But then when I came home and talked to some of my buddies around here, it sounds like, there were some storms, but not necessarily a ton of rain. Has that been the case up there? Are the water levels going down, or what's the weather been like at Lake of the Woods?
Yeah, exactly right. Overall, water levels are going down. We've had a little bit of, a few rain showers here and there, but nothing to change the curve and change the trend of the water level starting to drop. And that's been good. The other thing is with real high water, you're going to wash some debris into the river and some debris into the lake, and the majority of that is cleaned out. And, it's a much better atmosphere to fish in. Before you just had to be a little more careful when you're navigating, watching for logs and things like that. And now, like say most of that's cleared out. We didn't see anything on the water when we were out yesterday.
Boy, I've seen, you got to be a little bit careful with some of that stuff. But if you just keep an eye out, or you have somebody up near the front of the boat at times, just keeping an eye out. It's pretty easy to navigate around some of that stuff. And you may have to clear a few things off your line if you're fishing in the river here and there, but it's not too bad. Sometimes I've found too that if you can fish through some of that stuff and find a way to keep debris off your line or deal with a little bit, sometimes that can be the best fishing that you'll find.
It can be really good. And, right now we don't have the debris. I mean, the debris is gone. That's what I'm saying. The water levels are down. That water has flushed through enough that that stuff has kind of settled down. So we don't have that anymore. But exactly. And, again, it's fishing. I was fishing a lake not too long ago, and the cottonwood seeds were flying all over. And it made it hard to cast because cottonwood seeds, the white fluffy seeds were getting on your line. And, there's always something going on, right? There's bug hatches.
Well, I saw a video. I saw a video from up there a few days ago or last week, I can't remember now, of a bug hatch, and it looked like it was a pretty good one.
Yeah, well, you know what? We every year those bigger lakes like Mille Lacs and Leech and Lake of the Woods and and other lakes, but they have the big mayfly hatches, and that's a good food source for the walleyes. Now, you got to kind of know how to fish through a bug hatch, and Greg Jones of Midwest Outdoors and I shot a TV show yesterday, and we were done shooting the show by 2:30 in the afternoon. Fishing was just great, and we went to our first spot, and we saw carcasses, mayfly carcasses on the water. There was a few mayflies on shore, and we could see some of the mayflies on our graph too. The larval in the water, or the nymphs, I should say. But nonetheless, we fished one spot, Brett. We thought there was going to be fish. We drove around, didn't mark a lot of fish. We anchored up and jigged on a pod, caught a sauger, anchored up and jigged on another pod, caught one sauger. Not enough fish. We moved. Went to another place that we wanted to hit. On the way to another place, we're going to do a milk run. You know what? There were fish there. So we started pulling spinners through the fish. And my gosh, we started catching good fish. There was nobody around us. And we ended up having a heyday. Big fish was 27 inches. I think we got 24s. We got some 22s. Got our eaters. Got saugers. Got a couple pike. I mean, it was just really good fish. And we missed a lot of fish. So there again, there were bug hatches going on. We could see the bug hatches, not only the carcasses on the surface, but we could see them down in the water. They almost looks like a school of bait fish, but because they're like mid-range, they're bugs.
And Greg, I think, posted something about you guys tried a couple of different depths. You tried running maybe through the bug hatch and then maybe down below it, or you were varying your depths to try to find the fish?
We were, yeah. And we were just kind of looking for fish, right? We were out there and we're like, all right, we don't have a big line on where the fish are at. Let's just go fishing. And we went to one spot that I talked to a buddy who got some fish the last few days, and those fish, we had a kind of the wind had switched and stuff. Those fish were gone, and that happens. So then we just went on a milk run. So we hit a reef, actually, and we hit this reef, and we went up on top of the reef initially, or on the skinny part of it, 12 feet of water or so, rock, and we pulled spinners over the top and really didn't catch anything. As we started pulling deeper, we saw the bug hatch on the edge of it, and then we started pulling deeper than that and noticed the walleyes were all a little bit deeper from it. Some were under the bug hatch, some were a little bit deeper. So we just started pulling spinners through there, and over time you watch what's happening, you see where you're catching your fish, and you develop a pattern. And we sure did develop a pattern, and again, it was just a matter of going fishing and observing the conditions on the water.
Did you keep any walleyes?
We did, yeah. Yep, we did. We kept a couple limited walleyes, and we let a lot of walleyes go too. Of course, let some saugers go, and the two pike. I think they both probably would have been keeper, just under. One of them was probably in the 30 inch range or so, or just under 30, and another one was a little bit smaller than that. Both could have been, I think, good eater fish, but we elected to let them go.
Well, when you got walleyes, it's hard to keep the pike too. But man, I love eating pike. Pike is just as good as walleye. You just got to cut around those Y bones. And honestly, once you figure it out and you just cut that strip out, it's pretty easy to do. And I know some guys that have done it so many times they could do it blindfolded, and they don't bat an eye at it, and it's over with in about 30 seconds. So it just takes a little bit of practice. But I was curious, when you fillet those walleyes, did you cut them open and find mayflies in there? Did you happen to look to see what they were eating?
You know what? I was in a hurry. It was some rain had come in yesterday, so we got in the fish cleaning shack. It was real crowded, so I pretty much just Greg and I just whacked them out, and I looked for anything big in the stomachs, but I didn't literally just cut them open.
Sure.
For that reason, but a lot of times when I'm in a hurry, I'll look, and if there's something predominant sticking out of it, then of course I cut it open. It's almost like grab bait. What's the magic prize in the belly?
It's
you
like
never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, when Geraldo opened up that vault. Who remember when he tried to open up that vault and then there was nothing in there?
There was a lot of hype leading up to that deal, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, Joe. Well, next week I want to talk a little bit about late summer walleye fishing and why Lake of the Woods can be so good this time of year when some other lakes you might struggle on just a little bit. But we'll talk about that next week on the show. We'll be in Florida, by the way, next week. We'll be down at ICAST. And if people still want to get up to Lake of the Woods, they can still get up there this summer, right? There's still openings up there?
Oh, man, there's openings all over the place. Like I said, we've had a couple cancellations and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, now if you want to pick out a resort and go to your favorite resort, give them a try, because there are openings now, Brett, where there otherwise wouldn't have been. It's a great opportunity to come up. Heck, our fishing season's only begun. We're going to fish all the way through October. So, yeah, things have only begun. And if you want to come up and experience some really, really good walleye fishing right now, I'll tell you what, it's been good.
Fishing in October, that's going to cut into my hunting season, Joe. I may have to plan a cast and blast trip up there this fall.
Well, Brett, that's what therapists are for.
All right. Well, if people want to book a trip, what should they do, Joe?
You know what? Check out our website, and that is lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Hear more at sportingjournalradio.com or wherever you get podcasts. Northern Minnesota's Walleye Factory is a year-round world-class fishing destination. The perfect getaway this summer is just a short drive to Lake of the Woods. Fish Big Traverse Bay, the Rainy River, or visit the unique Northwest Angle. To catch big fish, you have to go where the big fish are. Plan your trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. That's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.